Okay, so in this recording now, I'm going to show how to create your new project from Azure DevOps. Right. So I've already created an organization. So if you don't know how to do that, so you need to watch the last video. However, you can still do it here, new organization, then you continue from there. So this is that is the prerequisite to continue with this one. So once you already have your organization created, you can do that. You can create your project here, right? So which is okay. But once you already have a project created, you won't see this particular screen again. So, and because of that, I will not use this screen for that purpose. I'll use a screen that you can be able to create multiple projects using this approach. So I'm going to use the organization setting. So you go to organizational settings and you go to projects. Once you get there, so as you can see, I haven't got any project, it's new. So I can click on new projects and I can select that. So I can select the name of project I want and you got advanced here. So, and that's it. You got basic, oh, sorry. Okay, so, and let's say my project is 2000, okay, and 2022. So let's say this is for coding for kids by kids. Okay, so I can put description on this one. So what is this particular about? This is okay. So that's that. So then of course I want that to be private. So and I want you to have access to Git. You know, in the introduction, I've also mentioned TFS and Team Foundation server. So, but we are going to be using Git as a version control. So you don't need to worry about version control for now. So we're still going to talk about version control. Someone actually said, I didn't know what CI/CD is. So that's another thing that we're going to speak about later. But one thing I want to focus on is this particular processes, right? So for now, we start with basic. We're going to see how it looks like. Then we'll go through all this one to see the differences between them. Then we'll then decide which process to use. For each one of them, there are different way that you need to um, to use them, right? So let's start with the basic now. So because of that, I will put basic on this one so that we know that this is basic actually. So if that makes sense. So it's not that when you create yours, you put basic, it's just for purpose of the training. Okay. So, and I click on create. Okay. All right. So that is my first project created. So, and next thing I can click on that. So to open the project. Okay, so okay, no, this is actually goes to the what's it called, the settings for that project. So I will leave this for now actually. So to open the project, let me go back to my part. Okay, so I'll go back to the home page. So if you want to go back to the home page at any particular time, so just click on this Azure DevOps logo, right? That will take you to your home page. Then you can click on your organization and you will see the project. So this is the project I've created now, right? So as at this level, I can see organization settings, right? So when I click on this, I should go to the project. So this is now my project. At this point now, you will see project settings, right? So let's talk about project settings quickly. So then after that, I will talk about what these ones are for. So project settings, right? The same as we have for the organization, we have the overview for your project. You have the name of the project, as you can see, and of course, you can put the descriptions of that project there. So, and this project is on the basic, as you can see. So, and yeah, so you can have different services that we have, like I've mentioned before. These are the main services that you have for Azure DevOps. I explained this in the previous video. All right, so what is boards, report, and everything. So if you want to know about that, you can go to that video. So then you have teams. You can add your team here. So you add the team, then inside your team, you will now have your users or your team members. So automatically, Azure DevOps creates one team for you, which has got the name of your project, right? So you can open that and start to add members to that particular team, right? So that is one way to add team. So let's say I want to add this particular person now to that team. So this is another of my user. So I can add this person to this team, right? So that's that. So, and also you can go to the settings and yeah, maintain all this one. So add new administrator or delete a team or upload. So basically, so, and that's that. So that is that. So now you, from that team, you go to notification, right? So what are the notifications that you want to receive based on the action that's being performed on the page? So for now, we leave this actually. So, and let's go back to where we were. So the next one that you want to look into is your dashboard. So this gives you uh, permission to be able to create dashboard. But as you can see, it says only team admin can set permission for all dashboards. So you can give your team ability to create dashboard or edit dashboard. Of course, you don't want to give them permission to delete dashboard as well. So that's one thing. But I'm logging in as admin right now. So this is, I can see everything. But when you log in, you might not be able to see everything because you are not admin or they have not given you admin. That's why I asked you, for individually create your own profile, see what you can see. Then also when your team is created, also they invite you, you will see that you might see less because you might not be admin on that profile. So then the next one is your project configuration. So this one is where you will now have to add your sprints, right? So you guys are in sprint 0 now. So, and yeah, you can add different sprints here. So what you need to do, so from here, you create new child. You click on the parent one first, right? So you create new child and say, okay, so this is, okay, this is another thing. So I think right now, I'm going to assume you know what a sprint is. So for some people that are still not sure, when you start to use it, when you start to be in it, you understand. So a sprint is normally 2 weeks. It's basically a time frame, right? That you need to do something. So that's very, very important for you to know. It's like when you say a sprint, some people say sprint or iteration. It's like a time frame when you need to finish a particular work. So and you move to another sprint. So you can have lot of excuse me, you can have lot of sprints or iteration. And some people also do as a scrum master, this is left for you. You can have sprint with name. Even though it says sprint 1, you can have sprint 1 is Jupiter, sprint 2 is Mars. So sometimes to make it just fun to say we are now in Jupiter sprint, you are now in Abraham Lincoln sprint. But you, of course, some you might not, it's not easy for you to remember, but you will still put the 1, 2, 3 in there. You just one way or the other, or you can use, or we are in maybe it's different movies or something like that, movie name to just make it interesting, so that your sprint is not boring. So, and okay, let's say we decide to use sprint instead of iteration, right? So you just kind of change that to sprint 2. Let's say I even make this one sprint 0. So when does it start? It starts from yesterday. So and ends on next Sunday. So it ends, it's going to be 2 weeks. So of course, you're going to start on 7th, then it ends on the 20th. Okay, so that is that. So, and that is the sprint 0. And you save and close. That's sprint 0. So sprint 1 was created for us. So we can set the date for that. So we can say our sprint 1 will start from 21 and should end on this is right. So save and close. And then you can add a new one and say, so that is sprint 3. So like I said, some people, you can say sprint 3 Jupiter, right? Okay, so and that starts. So it should start after this one has finished. That is 7th of March and ends. Sometimes we'll just give you 14 days after, but it doesn't consider Saturday and Sunday, but I'm going to be adding them anyway. So, okay. Oh, okay. I think I made a mistake, which is good. So I will edit that one. So that it is sprint 2, not sprint 3. So then you go on and on like that. So based on your sprint. So, and that's first thing. So the next thing I will speak about is the area, right? So in area, this is a good one. So because in some of your projects, you might have, let's say you have coding for kids now, you might have different areas of that particular project. So for instance, let's say there is some team, we have sub team in that particular area. So I say coding for kids, this is now admin portal of the coding for kids. Do you get it now? So, and we can say, okay, this is another area that we want to focus on. So you can have different areas. So you can segregate your project into different areas. So to say, oh, this is a login area. This is, but you don't now say area because you want to, it's different from Epic, bear in mind. So it's different from Epic. So it's like your project is now, you now have a subset of your project inside your project. For coding for kids, we can say, okay, portal admin, which might last us for maybe 10 or 5 sprints or something like that. Or we might be doing them together within the same sprint. That's the purpose of having different area. So for some projects, you can have different teams inside that project. So you create them as an area, right? So like you can have, let's say Blue Sky is an example right now. Let's say we said to say it's going to be prep major, right? Prep major 1 core, prep major 2, which is the courses, prep major 3, prep major journal. So that's one. So you can put them on prep major. So, but they have 3 areas: the core area, the courses area, and also the journal area. So those are 3 areas of prep major. But you won't say, I won't even go with like login, footer. So that is even like a story, right? Or an epic. Don't do that. So you need to use like a subset of your project as area, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. I'm not sure, Sharon, if you got any questions, so I add your hand up. You had a hand up. Okay, Agbola, sir.
Yeah, sorry. What is the difference between a sprint and iteration? And can we interuse it, or which one is the best to use?
It's the same thing, and you can use it, right? So yeah. Sometimes you'll be hearing me saying sprint, sometimes you'll be hearing me say iteration. It actually means the same thing. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So I think that is that. Let's go back a bit. So I've spoken about iteration and the area, what they are used for. So I think another thing here on, okay, I think, yeah. So I've looked into this area. We went on the dashboard, then also area path. So that's, so in terms of the settings, so this is another thing that you need to look into. So for the area path and settings on that. So, and you need to check here. So because we are going to be using Epic and Issue, make sure they are checked. Also, of course, in the normal setting, you're working Monday to Friday. But since you guys are going to be kind of working full all the days, so you might put Saturday and Sunday. So I'll go back to where we are before now. So because I've added Friday and Sunday, I think everything should just fine instead of me extending the one I did in the other when I was creating the iteration, right? So you need to add that. So iterations now. So this is now we have iteration one already set. So you can add your iteration here now. So we created the iteration before. Now you want to add your iteration to your board. So you can say, oh, I've got that. So I can see iteration 0 is added. So I've got iteration 1 as well. Okay, that's already added, iteration 2. So this one of the issues that you might have. So you've created an iteration, but you've not added it yet, right? So that it can be used in your sprint. So that's another thing. You need to be able to put them here. So there are two things that you need to do. So, and which means that you would need to create your iteration and add them. So if you use the other method that I've used, after you've created it, you need to add them here. But the best option is to actually use this particular method here. So this method here would allow you to kind of create new iteration and then select them, right? So let's say I create the sprint 3 now, or like someone asks that, is it the same thing? I will use iteration because they are also the same thing. Iteration 3. I need, let's say, a name of a movie. Okay, can someone just give me a name?
Green leaf.
Okay, green leaf. That's how you know what movie people are watching anyway. Thank you. All right. Okay. So as you can see, it starts from the 21 because I think that's the last one. So, and then you can see it's also already put the end of that. So I want to push it to Sunday. So save and close, and that it's now like that. So this one, it's where you need to check this one to ensure that your sprint is already added. So, okay. So, and the next is the area. So I think we have also spoken about the area. So the templates, so I think for now we'll leave the templates. We'll come back to the templates later. So then, okay, I think let's go back to the settings. Okay, so I think we were here now. So let's go back to the project now. I think we are here. So that is what you need to change. So the GitHub connection, you don't need to worry about that. The same way as these ones also. That's the settings that you need to do. So now let's go back to our home page. So like I said, if you want to go back to your home page or your profile page, just click on the logo and it takes you back to where you are, and you can see all your projects and your organization. So you click on that. This is our project now. So in your project, you have your overview, right? So this is what you have on the overview. On the overview, you can go to your summary. So in the summary, I will expect you to kind of create your, I think, edit it, make it nicer actually. So you can put some information there and manage the services and everything. So, and also you can as well create your board. So this is for the Scrum Masters. So in here, so as we go along, we're going to be teaching you different widgets that you need to use. For instance, now you need to be able to see your board. You need to be able to see the stories that you assign to people or people have been assigned to, or stories that people have assigned to themselves. You want to create that. So for instance, if, okay, let me quickly go back. So on the dashboard, you go to dashboard and you can add widgets. You have stories that you have different widgets. For instance, I want to know stories that has been assigned to me. So the build, this is for development and keyword to say if you're to know the status of your build, so you can leave that. So as a Scrum Master, you want to know whether your stories are burning down or up. So like for instance, let's say I put that, that's one thing I want to put. So, and I want to put that here. So I just drag it and I put that here. So, and the next thing I need to do is to configure it. So once I want to configure and I'll say, okay, I want to have 4 width and 3 eyes. So I can reduce it anyway based on what I want. So then I want to, the teams that I want is this one. So, but if you can add as many teams as possible, then work items, you want issues. Because of the template that we use, is got epic and issues. I'm going to talk about the differences later. So, okay, so or you want work item type based like that. So, but to be honest, I think later we'll talk about this different type of work item. So then also you might also want to set the criteria. Maybe you want the date from to each date or something like that. So, or you want your burn down to be count of number of items, or you want it to be sum of all the work item, or you want them to be sum of the efforts, or depending on what you want. So you can say, oh, I want the tax as well. So so based on that, that's what you can select, and you can show completed tasks. Or so based on that, you need to set up your board and you can save it. So that is for also the same thing applies to burn up as well. So you want to also put another one for burn up, configure that as well. For test plan or something, you might also want to do that. So another thing that you want to, sometimes cycle time is also a good one because you want to know how people get things done quickly and visualize that. So but those tools are very, very important. So you might also want to have queries or even some ties and everything, release pipeline, requirement quality. So it just kind of looks, sprint burn down is another good one that you don't want to miss, to be honest. So I'm going to add that as well. So that is another thing that you want. So you can also configure that. So say, okay, I want that. So the backlog items, I want it. So, but okay, don't worry about this because we're going to see different ones later. I mean, don't worry about this backlog item because based on the process that you select, you're going to see different work items here. So we talk about that quickly. So yes, summer and everything. So and you can decide to say I want some of the remaining or count of work items or different thing, and you can say that's that. So and yeah, so this is you configuring your dashboard based on what you want to do. So I would say that look into that. Of course, sprint capacity as a scrum master, you want to know what your capacity is. Of course, maybe you also want to know the team members. So test results, you want to know that as well. So, and maybe advanced as well. Of course, velocity is one thing you don't want to miss. So you drag the velocity in there as well. So, and so, and that's that. So I think we are okay with what we have on the dashboard. So then let's move to the wiki quickly. You can create a wiki. Wiki is like another I was mentioning different applications that you can use in Azure DevOps that even if you go outside, you see them individually. So Wiki is like Confluence of Azure DevOps. So if you ever use Confluence before, this is the Confluence for Azure DevOps, or what you'll have called a SharePoint as well. So any information that you want your team to have, you want to put in there. This is also a very good tool for BAs actually to say, oh, my requirements, if you have a requirement that is a lot or you are still gathering them, you can be putting them here. But of course, you need to break them down into stories later. So this is a good place for even Scrum Masters to put definition of done, definition of ready, your team charter, those things that you have agreed together as a team. So it's kind of information um, gathering tool for everybody. Like I said Azure DevOps is also a communication tool as well. So this is where you're going to be telling your team everything that you want them to know. So okay, moving to boards. Board is really, really good. It's going to be one of the most important aspect of this particular Azure DevOps that you are going to be using. So this is where you will see your stories, right? Right now, we don't have any stories. We don't have any work items, so you are not seeing anything. So, but as we go along, you're going to see stories here. You're going to, I think, let's create one quickly. So let's say I'm going to create an epic. So let's say I create a registration epic. or there will be people telling you what put descriptions, certain criteria and everything. But this is not how to use Azure DevOps. This is just how to create it. So how to set it up rather. So yeah. So if I go to my board now, I will see that registration number one, right? So and you can see, so you can look at it in as a board, or you can look at, so as you can see, so this is the board, right? So and you can also create, the you can create new items, or you can create it. So and so we're going to come back to this later. So backlog, your sprint, what it is are. So there's still going to be another session for that. So and delivery, this is also another place for Scrum Master to look into, to say, oh, I want to create a plan. So for what projects, and also criteria to set, then you'll be able to see your delivery plan for your project. And we spoke about estimation, or how do you do your estimation. You can create a session here, and then all of us can do estimation on that. So as time goes on, this will be used by the QAs. Actually, you will create your project, your coding in, maybe in, or of course you have Visual Studio, and you create your project. You'll be able to push it into this repository, and other people, other team member can clone that repository, and you'll be working collaboratively. So and you'll be doing commits, and you'll be seeing the commit here. So but we haven't got any repositories, it's empty, so you will not see anything. So when you push, you go here and you see the pushes here. So and also you can also create branches. So this, we are seeing the same thing because we don't have any repository created. So you will create a repository, and you'll be doing your commit, pushes, and also pull requests as well. Once you've done that, then it takes us to pipeline. So pipeline is where your CI/CD also continues, right? So all these repository, that are part of your CI/CD, because you are going to be push, pull, and everything. So basically you are doing continuous integration. You are integrating your code with what other people has done, right? So then after that, you would want to run your test as well. So automatically, right? So that is what the pipeline is for. You will create your pipeline to run. It's like a water pipeline. It flows, right? So you have your test. It will be automated, and it will just be flowing, running automatically on the on this environment. So you can create environment, but I don't think we are going to be using that. So then also on releases, you can also schedule releases based on your pipelines as well. So for the keyways, you can also have test plans. So create test plan. So have your test scripts there, and also run your test clip. And also there's also load test. So we are not going to cover load test during the course of this training, but you can actually play with that. So to actually see how you can do performance tests or load tests. So once you want to create a new test plan, just click on that, you create test plan. So with that. So I know I'm very, very fast because I'm also cautious about the time. So, and one thing, any question before I go to the next part, which is now going to be, what projects am I going to create, or what template do I need to choose, right? So, and I'll quickly go through how to go through the project once again. Any question?
Hi, Deji.
Hi.
Thanks for going through this one. Please, what is the burn down and burn up?
Okay, so that's another thing that you should ask your Scrum Master mentor as you go along. So quickly, I'll just mention that. So as you work on a project, your project, the work you are doing, is going to be reducing. That means you are burning down, right? So let's say you have, in a sprint, right? As a sprint, maybe in the next 10 working days, you have 10 stories, you have 10 items that you need to do. So, and in the first day, you finished one, so you burn down. That's what it means. So that particular chart will be doing like a graph for you. You know the graphs that we do in secondary school where you have that going down and everything. So that's what it's
Yeah.
going to be showing. Yeah, going to be showing to you that, oh, now your story is now for remaining, or 3 remaining, and sometimes maybe the pro owner can bring another story, so that will create a spike. Instead of going down, is going up again, right? So that is what the graph will show to you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, so I would stop the recording now and start another one.